Tonight on Ann the Polar, we bring you a special of Ann's albums brought to you by Chapel. Here we go.
Welcome everyone to Ann's Albums. This edition is Chapel's Top 10 of 2018. Thank you. So, going to go ahead and jump into my top albums of the year. A lot of music came out this year, but some of them aren't going to make the list. We might get some honorable mentions, but overall, just 10 albums. So, going to go ahead and start with number 10 is Demi Borgir's Aeonian. I think is how you pronounce that. They're a Norwegian black metal band. It's been around for quite a while now. I guess in Norway, they're almost a popular band. You know, like I guess old school black metal people don't look at them the same, but I think they're one of the most brilliant bands out there, and they put out another good record. I mean, their last record was a little stale, wasn't too bad, but this one really brings back. I like the dark Demi Borgir, the real dark and heavy, and I love all the symphonic metal that they do. And but now we're going to move on to number 9, which is A Perfect Circle, Eat the Elephant. Waited 15 years for this record, and I think some people were disappointed because it wasn't what some people expected.
It was interesting.
I thought so. I thought it was they did a lot of cool stuff. The only thing I'm not a fan of is when I don't hear Billy Howardale's guitar playing. Like when they do any of those songs, it's more electronic or whatnot. I don't dig it as much because I really love Billy's guitar playing, and it's very political record. Going with the time sort of thing. It's not really like it leans all the way to the left or all the way to the right or whatever. It just sort of trying to capture just the realness of what's going on in the world. And from there we got Graveyard, which is a Swedish kind of nostalgic blues rock, classic rock sounding kind of band, and their album Peace this year. I've never been disappointed with the Graveyard record. They definitely always impressed me with every release that they put out. Thought there for a while they were going to break up, and they got back together and with a new drummer and put out this record, and it's just beautiful. If you haven't heard Graveyard, please look those guys up. And number 7, we got At the Gates, To Drink from the Night Itself. And for those of you who don't know, these guys basically are the creators of what's known as the Gothenburg sound, that Swedish sound that In Flames and Soilwork and bands like that sort of took their sound from. At the Gates created that. That was they were the first, like, that Swedish melodic kind of metal.
Okay, when did they come out?
Early 90s.
Early 90s.
Early 90s. Let's see, I want to think they broke up too in like 96, I want to think.
Wow.
And then they got back together like 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and just they put out a record then that was great. But this one it's just great. It's dark, but it's melodic and heavy, and I just seen them recently with Behemoth, and they were just amazing. They pulled it off live, and it's always good to see a band that can pull off what they put on record live. At the Gates definitely. I actually drove to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to see them 3 years ago because I've never thought in a million years they would ever come to North Carolina.
And then they did
3 years later. But moving on, we've got number 6 is Black Label Society's Grimmest Hits. And anybody who knows me knows that Black Label Society is one of my favorite bands. Zach Wild's one of my all-time favorite guitar players. Some people will be like, I can't believe he ain't number 1. Well, I mean, it ain't, at least it's on there. It was a great record, but Zach still hasn't put out a record with Black Label for me in a while. That since the Order of the Black, that was just solid from start to finish, and doesn't feel like he's doing like a few stagnant kind of songs. Like this album had some really good songs on it, but there were a few just filler songs on it. So for me, it wasn't like a complete good album from start to finish. It's just like sections of it are good. Yeah. You know what I mean? For me, and then some things just sound like he's kind of going through the motions. And but overall, I like the record. I could put it all in just let it play. And, it's great. And like I said, Zach's guitar work is still out of this world. Now we'll move on to number 5, which is a newer band in my life. I just actually got into these guys last year, and they are Zeal and Ardor. And the name of the album is Strange Fruit, and this band takes elements of like slave music from back in the day, slave blues music, and sort of mixes it with a little bit of black metal, a little bit of soul, a little bit of it's like dashes of everything, and then you get Zeal and Ardor, and it's such an odd yet just beautiful.
A surprise in music.
Right, yeah, I played it for you, and you know, kind of like, wow.
It's a unique...
it's a unique style. I couldn't tell you another band that sounded like that.
No, they have their own sound.
Definitely.
Right.
And this album was just, I liked it better than the first record. The first record was great, but I felt like they needed to step up in the production part of the record. And I think they did that with this record without sounding too polished. Because that's one thing too, underground, it starts getting too polished and they think, oh, you're selling out, or you know, it's like, no, I just want my stuff to sound good. Yeah. But
not everyone goes for the sloppy.
Nobody, yeah, exactly. But at the same time, they're that style of band that they're supposed to sound dirty, in certain parts, and. It keeps them glued to the underground in a sense, and but sooner or later those guys might break out, and I can see those guys becoming something. I mean, if Ghost can bring like that style of like, I know it's theatrical rock, but it's really they have the unholy pope and all this sort of that whole look. They look like they could be a black metal band, but they don't play black metal music.
Yeah.
But if somebody like them can be and play, as much in the States as somebody like Zeal and Ardor, who I think
I like that better.
I like that, but yeah, and I love Ghost. I love Ghost, but when it comes down to like scratching the surface of what all's going on, Zeal and Ardor has a lot going on. Yeah, we do so much, but they're still in their infancy, and I think they'll be something big on down the line.
Absolutely.
Number 4 for me is High on Fire. Matt Pike, who was in the band Sleep, which if anybody knows Sleep and High on Fire are polar opposites, but it's like you take a stoner rock guy and then you just shoot him full of meth, because it starts getting faster, and it's a lot more about that. It's a lot faster playing, and when your vocalist sounds like Lemmy from Motorhead after swallowing glass, you can't get any more metal than that. That's metal, and it did not disappoint. It's called Electric Messiah, and my favorite track on the album is the title track, Electric Messiah. It's just, I'll play it for you. It's badass. But they still a new record, very, very good, very, very good. My number 3 though is a band I just mentioned before, Ghost. Their album Prequel gets high on the list for me because I did get hooked on that album a lot. But I would have to say though, the first half of the record is my favorite. but once it gets getting into the second half of the record, it's when it sort of trails off for me. But at the same time, overall, I like it. They mix a good sound of like 70s inspired rock and theatrical rock and pop. You know what I mean? They can, you know, they're trying to get in top for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's another band that I hear so many people cry sellout on because they write these poppy songs. But I remember hearing the song Ritual in 2010, and when I looked at these guys up, because I thought they would be a heavier band.
Yeah.
And then I heard the song and I was like, it's just structured like a pop song. But I mean, it was hidden behind a lot of organ stuff, and you know, the guitar was a little doomier sounding, but overall it was structured like a pop song. So to me, in 2010, I saw it writing on the wall. I knew where they were going.
Yeah.
So when people are like surprised that they are where they're at now, I'm like, why are you surprised? Like, could you not tell that was the path they were going for? You know, but
that's okay too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with pop metal.
No, I mean,
someone's got to do it.
You know, yeah. But it's the first time I've ever been to a show too, where you're at a crowd like that. You know, and you see like, you know, like I said, the unholy pope type stuff. You know, they're band members are nameless ghouls, and they wear the masks with the horns.
Oh yeah.
And you know, but people are having fun. You know what I mean? It's not taken so seriously. It's tongue in cheek. It's just
theatrics.
It's just theatrics. You know, and you know that's how you should look into it.
Oh man.
But Prequel was I really enjoyed the record overall. But definitely, if you hadn't heard, I should have given some tracks on each album. But when we do this video, we'll probably do a little snippet of each track I like the best from each album in the background. But definitely check out Faith from this record. And, oh man, just amazing. You know?
Think of that awful cover of Faith from...
No, oh God. Why did you have to ruin it and bring up this covering George Michael?
It's got to be better than that.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not a cover. It's not a cover.
Not another cover of
which
Faith.
If anybody could pull off a George Michael cover, it would be these guys. They, you know, because they've
I'm
done
sure it'd be better than.
Yeah, I've already heard them cover the Beatles. They've covered Army of Lovers. They covered ABBA. Already.
Oh, wow.
I've heard
Nice.
those, you know, so they can. I think their style is good for that. But no, that Faith is not
Okay,
George
good.
Michael's Faith.
That's all I was hoping for. All right.
Now my number 2 is a Finnish band, a Finnish melodic kind of mixture. I'll say like melodic death, but not too much death metal. You know, he'll do growls and stuff, but the band is amorphous. But they, you know, he does a lot of melodic vocals, and he'll switch to doing like these low, deep guttural growls, and the mixture of the keyboards in with their style of playing is amazing. And there's a song, The Bee, and it's interesting to hear a metal song that literally is talking about a bee finding a skull out in the forest. So these guys are Finnish. A lot of their songs are like from Finnish folk tales and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
So here it is talking about this bee finding a skull, and then tells, hey, all the other bees, hey, come, I found a skull.
Use it as a home or something.
Yeah.
I like that tale.
So yeah, I'll play that too. You'll really dig that one because it's just melodic. It's so melodic, that album. And but they never seem to disappoint me. I just seen them recently this year live, and that vocals can pull that off. Those real deep gutturals and go into just the cleanest, most beautiful vocal. Just on time. You know, some you know, you don't hear no cracking voice or anything like back and forth. You know, he's really that dude. I don't know. He must not drink or smoke, but I could be wrong. I don't know the guy personally, so. But most of the time, you know, I bet he takes really good care of his vocals.
Is this the number one?
Number one, but before I say my number one, I want to give you an honorable mentions.
Okay.
That are not, they were good, but they weren't good. They just didn't make my top 10. But they get an honorable mention. First is Behemoth. I Loved You at Your Darkest, which I've never been a huge Behemoth fan. The early stuff I just didn't like. I love the music, I just didn't like how they produced his vocals. I felt like it was just overlayered vocals. It's like, I get it, you want to sound like a demon, but it just muddies it up for me. But like when they got to their last album called The Satanist, his vocals sounded the best to me, recorded live. Because I'd seen them live, they were great live, but I just didn't like his recorded vocal. And now I love this new record. His vocals are great, the music's great, it's dark, it's band from Poland, basically a black metal band, black death band from Poland. And they've been around for a long time, but this record is really good, but I didn't really listen to it as much as I listened to the other records. That's sort of why they're honorable, because I listened to them, but I didn't really, they didn't stay in heavy rotation. Yeah. Another is Sleep, which I mentioned earlier, Matt Pike from High on Fire. It's their first album in 20 years. So they just, and they're an iconic stoner doom band, and a three-piece, big sound for a three-piece, and it was what I expected when I was going to hear it, but at the same time, one or two songs really stuck out, but overall it was just background. You know what I mean? It was good, but it was just nothing really hit me. It was just kind of there. But I enjoyed the music. I didn't enjoy it as much as I liked High on Fire. And two, Ministry put out a new record, their first record in forever, and it was called Americant. And of course, Donald Trump's president. Al Jorgensen has to always fight whoever he thinks is not right to be in the White House. I mean, everybody has their opinion, but he always attacked the Bushes, George Sr., George W. He put out so many records, basically saying we felt about George W. And then when George was out of office, he retired Ministry. Donald Trump gets elected president 8 years later, he brings Ministry back.
So in 08, he retired Ministry.
Yeah, I mean, he did other musical stuff, but overall, it was good. Burton Bale from Fear Factory was on the record too, and I was like, that's cool, but overall, Ministry just hasn't put out anything that has hit me as hard as Psalm 69 back in 92.
That album and one of the others.
Feel Big.
Feel Big is great.
Yeah, Feel Big was my high school days, That was my ministry back then, so.
Feels bad.
Yeah.
Hot
lava. But it just didn't live up to,
those two records were
those two records for me. It's like, I appreciate you, Al, and I appreciate Ministry, but it didn't land either. It didn't have enough to get on my top 10. So
yeah.
But number one is definitely Corrosion of Conformity. North Carolina natives, except for Pepper Keenan, he's from New Orleans. Their new album, No Cross, No Crown, is their first record with Pepper, again, since 2005's In the Arms of God, which was an epic record for them to end. If that was the end of their career, then that would have been it. That album was epic, but then I never thought they could recapture that again. And this album really does it. It's a little dark. It's got that good hard rock groove, southern feeling, just the tenacity of it. It's just anybody who likes Corrosion of Conformity. If you haven't, listen to this record, and then go back and listen to the old records. But definitely, this album keeps that kind of dark, stoner, southern blues sort of mixture together that they've been doing since like 1994. You know.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're one of the original.
I mean, they were a hardcore punk band in the 80s.
Oh, were they punk in the 80s?
Yeah, they were a hardcore punk band for many years.
I did not know that.
And then they put out in 91, they put out Blind, and they became a 5-piece like metal band. And then in 94, they cut it down to a 4-piece and had Pepper on vocals full time. And for me, that's Corrosion Conformity. That's the Corrosion Conformity I like. That 4-piece from Deliverance on. And this, because they did some albums in between In the Arms of God, it's 3-piece again. And they're good musically, but I wanted to hear Pepper sing. I want that vocal. I just love his style of vocals. And this one was, like I said, was amazing. So, No Cross, No Crown, get that record. #1 in my world in 2018. So, I guess that's the end of this edition of Band's Albums. Chapel's 2018 Top 10 list. And I hope everybody enjoys, and I hope I didn't say you know too much. Cheers.
Thanks for joining us.